Have you ever tried something new for your skin, like a cream or a supplement, a diet, maybe even a nervous system or mindset tool, and before you even opened the bottle or started the first lesson, you were already like, yeah, this is probably not gonna work for me anyway. Nothing ever does. If you've ever had a thought like this video is for you, because that thought is not harmless. And it's not just some emotional baggage from all of the past disappointments that you might have already had with your skin. It's actually shaping how your body responds on a biological level. And I know that might sound a little weird, especially if you've been dealing with very real physical skin symptoms for a long time. So in this video, I'm gonna explain exactly what's going on here. So pay close attention, because this might just be the missing piece for your skin to finally heal for good. Because the belief that this isn't gonna work for me, especially when it's been formed after years of failed healing attempts, is often the very thing that causes the next thing to fail too. Really let that sink in for a moment. Your skin isn't responding to everything that you're doing because the treatments that you've done were wrong in any way. Not because your skin is unusually stubborn or because you're somehow broke or the exception to the rule, which I also felt like for a very long time. Your skin actually isn't getting better because belief directly influences how your nervous system, your immune system, and inflammatory responses in general behave. And this isn't some la-la mindset nervous system talk, okay? It's well-established science. Most people are probably familiar with the placebo effect, right? This phenomenon where someone improves simply because they believe a treatment will help them, even if the treatment itself is fake or inactive. But what far fewer people know about is the nocebo effect, basically the placebo's evil twin, okay? The nocebo effect is what happens when someone expects a treatment not to work or expects some negative outcome, and that their body basically responds by creating those exact negative outcomes. This has been shown over and over again in clinical research. For example, studies published in the journals like the New England Journal of Medicine and the Lancet have shown that when patients are warned about the side effects of a drug, for instance, they experience those very side effects at much higher rates, even when they're given a sugar pill. So in other words, their belief alone changes their physiology. So belief really isn't just a thought in your head. It's a signal to your entire nervous system. And your nervous system's main job is to keep you safe and alive. And that means that it's constantly scanning for all of those dangers around you in the outside world, as well as internally, and basically adjusting your body's processes accordingly, either towards fight or flight or towards rest, digest, and repair. And so the reason that this matters is that when you approach something new, whether that's a new supplement or trying a new diet or biofeedback, brain rewiring, whatever it might be, with skepticism or with fear, like, not sure this will work, or oh, I'm probably gonna be disappointed again, kind of like being on guard, your nervous system doesn't wait to see what happens. Like, it prepares in advance, because your brain is essentially a prediction machine. It creates expectations about the future based on past experiences. And if you've had years and years of failed skin healing attempts, your brain will basically naturally extrapolate all of that into the future and assume, well, more failure is probably coming. And when that happens, very specific things occur in the body, right? Cortisol stays elevated, inflammatory pathways get activated, immune cells remain on high alert, and in other words, basically your body shifts into a state that is the exact opposite of what it needs in order to heal itself and your skin. We know this from psychoneuroimmunology, which is the field that studies how the brain and the nervous system, the immune system, and inflammation interact with each other. So if your brain is predicting danger or disappointment, your body is literally being told, now is not the time to rest and repair. And that is why belief has to be addressed first. Because it doesn't matter actually what kind of treatment you're planning to try next. If you bring that very same belief into the experience, you're very likely going to get the same outcome. And that's also why two people can try the exact same cream, the exact same supplement, the exact same healing protocol and have completely different results. Because the difference isn't always about effort or how much discipline you bring or about how intelligently you approach your healing. It's the internal state of your nervous system and the beliefs that you bring to the intervention. It's the prediction of your brain that it's making about what's going to happen through this treatment. And this is also why trying harder or doing more doesn't always fix the problem. Because if you're anything like I was, your instinct is probably going towards, well, I'm just not doing enough here. I'm doing something wrong. I'm missing something. I need to double down on my routines, become even more stricter, right? With food and more elimination. And you're doing even more and running around like a crazy headless chicken. But more control over potential triggers, again, isn't always the solution, because here's the problem. No diet in the world can override an activated nervous system that is stuck in chronic fight or flight. You can't out-logic your body into feeling safe. You can't positively affirm your way out of something that lives at a full body subconscious level, because beliefs don't live in the conscious mind. That's why affirmations are just another band-aid where you're telling yourself, I'm healthy, I'm good, my skin is clear, but your subconscious doesn't buy it. And your subconscious is the very system that regulates your immune responses, your inflammation, your gut permeability, hormones, and skin renewal. And that's why we have to work on that level, on the subconscious level. So instead of doing more, we actually have to start doing less and instead do it the right things. Because the thing is that often doing more usually creates more pressure. And eventually, when you've already tried so much for so long, instead, we're trying to change the internal prediction and expectations of your brain, which are basically your body's operating system. Not by pretending that whatever intervention, again, whether it's the next cream, supplement, or brain rewiring, is magically gonna work, not through some forced optimism, okay? But by gently rewiring the patterns in your brain that were shaped by years of stress, disappointment, and ultimately failed attempts to heal your skin. This is something that European medicine has acknowledged for decades. In German, for example, I am German, and it was always so obvious to me because eczema is literally called neurodermitis, which translates into nerve-related skin inflammation. And so when the nervous system shifts out of chronic threat and into safety, very predictable things can happen. Inflammation drops, immune signaling normalizes, the gut lining repairs suddenly again, and the skin becomes more resilient. I've seen this again and again, both in my own research and through years of clinical experience of working with real women, not just through myself, but with so many others who had already seemingly tried everything. That once the belief shifts, that nothing's gonna work for me, I've tried it all, I'm a lost case. When we work on that and dissolve that, healing finally actually has the room to happen. Pretty quickly and sometimes even miraculously. And not only do we create the internal conditions for healing to happen, but suddenly supplements start working better, flare cycles become less frequent, the skin obviously calms down, the gut, the digestion feels better, you sleep better. There's so many things that change once we change the whole internal operating system of your body, which is regulated by the brain. And that is what brain rewiring is all about. Not some mindset fluff, not some affirmations or therapy or ignoring our way out of our symptoms and just think positively. It's not gonna work. Brain rewiring is a deeper, proven, structured, and very fast way of actually changing your brain's expectation patterns first, so that anything that you do next actually has a chance to work. So the next time that you're thinking, I don't want to waste more money or energy on the next thing that's not going to work, please just know that this fear and this assumption makes sense, and it's absolutely valid that you feel and think that way. It's just that instead of always thinking that your body needs healing, it might just be that your beliefs are the next thing that actually need healing first. And once you work with that, everything else can finally start paying off too. I've linked a few resources below where you can start working with this exact type of brain rewiring gently and safely to really uncover what kind of beliefs are even stuck there under the surface for you. And if this video was helpful in any way, please like, comment, and share, and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any future skin sites that I'm sharing on here. And remember, you don't need more willpower, okay? You don't need more strict routines. You don't need to go on the 10th detox protocol. You need a belief system that supports healing instead of blocking it. And that is something that you can change, and it's actually a lot easier than you may think.